Great. Okay. To accept the minutes for our last meeting. Have a first and a second. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. We do have 4, so we do have a quorum. All right, I would like to go right into the resolutions for today's meeting. We could start with HS1, resolution to authorize budgetary modifications for the Department of Social Services, Adult and Family Service, other fees and services. Can I get anyone to speak to that? Actually, we probably should make a motion on the floor. First and a second. Any discussion on that one? Pretty straightforward. Okay, hearing none, and all in favor? Aye. Okay. Moving on to HS2. HS2 is a resolution authorizing budgetary modification for Department of Social Services, Adult and Family Service, additional hours. This is for the cover of some of the hours that they're putting in, it's extra hours and one, and some overtime. Hey, any questions on this one, or can I make a motion to get it on the floor? Second. Any questions on this one? Real quick with this. One hour. All those in favor? Aye.
Some mayors, yeah, we're a nonprofit that decides it's mayor, cities. They have all of the association mayors, but they stay short, but they're trying to.
That's sure on to HS3. HS3 is a resolution authorizing budgetary modifications for Department of Social Service. Heat, other supplies and expenses, and low-income energy assistance allocation accepted. On this one, we're accepting funds to come in. These funds will be used for still some more repair work. Thanks for saying, actually, and also into just the budget line for funding for our folks that work on. Anyone have any questions, or if there's any comments? Open it up for discussion. Can I get a motion to open it up? Any questions, or anyone need to speak to this one? I think it's pretty straightforward as well. It's a good one. It's coming in once. All those in favor on this? Aye. Good. HS3 or HS4 is the resolution awarding professional service contract RFP 24 DSS 004 Adolescents and Sexual Offender Treatment Program. Looking for motions to bring it to the floor. Second. Any discussion on this? I know there are some questions. Get into them if it's all right. On this one, we have one responder. One thing that's been brought up, the question is, do we know what the previous years were in terms of, because these are yearly contracts, these gone up, down?
Looks like there's 2 responders and 1 did not meet the requirements.
Right.
So they were disqualified, I assume. So there's only 1.
We could go back and look and see. It does happen though. A lot of times they have either the bids are written or the RFPs are written in such a way that people aren't qualified to respond, or that it's very specialized. So there's only a handful of people that are capable of doing the work.
Did they actually put a dollar figure to that? Or did we just?
No, we don't put a dollar figure.
Was there one that came in with it?
Yeah, they did, but because it was non-responsive, they didn't
Didn't include it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I had asked the commissioner to get some data together for me on these contracts. I've got those answers.
Okay.
Thanks to your, thank you. In 2024, this contract was $252,938. The new contract will be $269,109. That's an increase of $16,170.
Anyone else have any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Resolution is HS5, resolution awarding professional service contract RFP 24 DSS 005 Family Support Program. Can we get motions to open up the discussion? Okay, thank you. All right, this one had some questions as well. Do you have anything on it?
Yes, this is actually a decrease from this year of 14,000 and change. This one and also the previous one, these are forward services.
These are forward. There was also a question, this one went down, you're saying,
Yes.
the Catholic Charities prices, or was it Cuba Centers?
Cuba Centers was non-responsive,
That as well is not responsive?
which means that they did not respond according to what they were, the specification.
Okay, so basically but they submitted a number that was for partial then? Or partial
Well, they
service?
submit a number, but if people reviewing it find that it's non-responsive, we don't even put the number in. But we can put the number in going
Well,
forward.
in this case, it's in there. That's what threw everybody off.
Oh, we usually don't.
It's a big number. You're going from 924,000 down to 262.
Oh, right. But they didn't meet the whole scope of the. So perhaps would it be better if we showed you all the response when the committee meets, they write something up? Like I did that with one.
I would, because when there's
Okay.
that much of a discrepancy, it gets questioned.
And then you can see why they thought it was non-responsive. Okay, we can do that
Yeah,
going
I think
forward.
with the dollar amounts, they wouldn't be able to serve the total population currently being served by the contract that it was awarded to. So there was a discrepancy with their numbers, and I think their case, is this one where the caseworkers were the same rate as clinicians in the other contracts, so there would be some. We were concerned about the number of amendments that would have to come in because with their current proposal, they wouldn't be able to meet our need, and we'd have to change it, which would bring it up to about the same or a little more. I think when we crunched the math and did the math, it would have been more.
Yeah, because and even if we had the previous numbers too, just when there's that much of a discrepancy, that's the reason that comes up. And this is court ordered, so that was the other question, is who, is it required? And in this case, obviously, it's. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I think that'd be a good idea to explain why there's a big difference. Yeah, have it first looked at it and say, why are you taking that bid, but the other one is $700,000?
Oh, I agree. I mean, that,
Should be an explanation.
The Cayuga Centers had 2 workers basically listed for that program, and then the Catholic Charities would have 10, so they can serve close to probably 100, whereas Cayuga Centers could only serve 24 at any given time. And our wait list is around,
30.
30.
Yeah.
We, then run into contempt of court, et cetera, so we need to look at that, who can actually serve that volume. Cayuga Centers, they can only serve 24 at a time.
and then we also, I think, brought up the fact that location, we need someone within the county so that we're not trying to get people out of county to get counseling or whatever it is that they need, so it's timely for the courts.
It's an in-home service. So.
In home. They would be traveling to the.
Yes, they're what was formerly known as parent educators. We changed the scope so that it's better able to serve the families who are working for them.
Any other questions? Does that make sense, Chuck, for you? Well, everyone would like to learn comfort. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, last one on the contracts, resolution HS6, awarding the professional service contract RFP 24 DSS 006 Family Counseling Program. You know, we had only one responder on this. We can open it up to the floor for questions. Motions. Second. Any questions on this one, gentlemen? Court order, right? Court order? No. This one is not court order?
It's a preventive service, so it's a contract that allows for a more therapeutic preventive service, and it's been very successful. We haven't had placements come out of cases that have been opened with this program, so it's quite a cost savings to that.
Does that help you, Chuck? Understand it a little bit? Now, how do we fund this then? Does it come right out of, this has been a previous line item on your budget
Yes.
past years? Is this one
Yep.
same pricing? Do you have anything on that?
It's a little more because there's an additional therapist in this contract.
75,000.
75,000? Else from anyone? So, we're gonna take a vote on this. All in favor? Aye. All right, moving on to HS7. HS7, first we have to make an amendment to it. We have the resolution, reading resolutions awarding professional service contract RFP 24-MH001. This is primary violence prevention education. And further down under the first resolve, it says that it's a contract for the drug and alcohol testing. That's not true. It needs to say primary violence prevention education. Yes, they did. So that needs to be changed as well. All right, I'd like to open this up for discussion. Herb? Okay, the questions that we had on this for folks was again a contract that was two bidders out of we did have quite a few bidders on this. Or not bidders, but the contracts went out too, or?
We sent it to 13 people besides posting it. But on this one, we did include, because they selected the higher price one, we included all the reasoning, and it looked like they didn't really meet the scope, the one that was lower. So we did include all the comments of the review committee so that everyone could see their reasoning.
Okay. So this is something we do at the RFP time, when you're opening them, and they discuss them. When do they discuss that?
Well, they pick a evaluation committee, and then they send the information back to us, and then we put the report together. So when I saw that they went with the higher price one, we made sure that we included this, and we read through it, and it seemed like it made sense why they went with the one that was a little bit higher. It seemed like the one that was a little lower didn't meet the total scope of the project. but that's why I enclosed everything so everyone could see.
Hi, I'm Kathy Rice, and I was one of the people that were on the committee for that. So, I mean, in meeting and discussing it, one of the things, we looked at Farnham's and Catholic Charities proposals for the budgets. And as you mentioned, Holly, the information was there. What Farnham was proposing was more of a trainer versus an educator, and we felt that the educator would be more community-oriented versus a trainer that would be specific to maybe setting up trainings and meeting with people. So we didn't think we'd get that community impact that we would have. But as it was stated on that last page that was there's no local funding. It's being funded through the OMH state aid and opioid settlement funds, which comes through the LGU, and it's already been included in this year's, the 2024 and 2025 budget for this position.
Now, so this is a yearly contract, obviously. Is this a required one, or is this one that we get through the opioid?
This is not a required one. This is one that Nicole had developed, the position. We felt that this year with the violence prevention, it'd be good to have that in the community, to educate folks and to educate the community how we can deter, and have somebody providing those type of trainings. This is through OMH and opioid settlement funds that went directly to LGU.
So it is funding that we receive.
Safe, correct.
We use that funding for things. Any other questions? All right. First, second, well, we already did that, finally, believe it. So if we can go ahead and make a motion to accept. Here. Okay. Yeah, that is our last of all. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're also going to need to review and make a vote on acceptance. We have an appointment of a member to the Office of the Aging Advisory Council. And in this, we have, Sarah, did you pass out that one?
I just did.
Okay. On the back, some of these require resumes, but in this case, there wasn't a resume to be had, so they wrote on the back side the recommendation and why, for the background, so that we can include this person.
Well, for our advisory council, that's how we receive nominations on that form, because it's usually elderly people. They don't have a resume to provide, so they fill out that information so we can see where their background is, how they fit in on our advisory council.
And this won't necessarily go to floor for voting?
Correct, our bylaws do not require appointments to our council to go to the full floor.
Voted on here, because I expect to ratify it.
All right, so if we can make a motion to accept. And all those in favor? Aye. Okay. Okay, moving on to reporting for the departments. Start with the city youth. Your report. Jen?
Alrighty, so I don't know if you want me to touch base first with the, I believe y'all received a letter from the mayor of Oswego where he was, based on our bylaws, having to formally request if we were to separate the agreement between the city and a long time into the 70s. As you all are aware, probably the city has some financial strains, and I had a vacant position that they left vacant, and they took that out, and upon further looking into things, wanted to move into a different direction. So they formally submitted the separation agreement between the city and county. So I just wanted you all to be familiar with that as to where that would be. So I think you all have a copy of it there. So I didn't know if there's any kind of discussion with that or if you had any questions for me or anything to that matter.
The only What's that?
Step.
Is that in the packet?
How is that going to affect your budget moving forward for you into the fall here and then?
My city and county budgets are separate. So in this case, there's a little bit of revenue that the city provides to the county, but that also pays for rent, computers, operating, many things that can offset itself by not being there. I do have a plan. I'm going to be meeting with Phil later today. I do have a plan on how we will be able to maintain programming within the city moving forward. So my staff has taken on programming to go along with that for 2025. So I have a plan in place, which I was going to show later today, stuff in more detail going on. But they were separate budgets. So the county wasn't paying for the city program, vice versa.
So is there any action we need to take on this for that?
So he's asked for a formal separating, just to authorize going ahead and creating a work with legal to, I don't know if this was formed by local law way back when, the joint city-county youth bureau, but if so, does that local law would have to be repealed? Or if there is a, if there's a contractual agreement, I don't recall us signing contractual agreements every few years. I
No,
have a
there's
feeling-
the bylaws.
Yeah.
We just update the bylaws every 5 years. I update those of the mayors and the chairman are sign those.
Rich, do you recall if the city-county youth bureau was formed by local law? So if we separate,
It's legislative equivalency doctrine, if it's done by local law, it has to be undone by local law. But I don't know if that's the case, and I have to check.
Okay. I want to say it was.
So is that something we would have to act on for this meeting?
so this would take effect.
Separation will take place January 1, so
Yeah.
February
Okay,
31st.
so we still have time to.
Yeah, I wanted to bring you guys up to par and realize that where that is moving forward with that.
Right now, we're in budget development, we don't want to go forward with budget if we don't, not get that, like that there's a separation of the city.
So should we do something for you so you can?
I just didn't know if anybody had any questions about it. It's not the
At
biggest.
this point, I don't, other than the, it's.
Right.
How much is that gonna affect anything we're doing in the county, Steve? It shouldn't, right?
I mean, it's nice to have extra staff that can help with county programming as needed, because they assist when in there. But like I said, I have a plan going forward, and I understand the reason behind it, so, it's kind of, can't argue with Mayor about it.
Right. Yeah.
As I've been told by him, he's moved on.
You will too.
So with that being said, with some updates, Camp House season, just so you know, we served 678 kids this summer, which is the largest number of kids we've had since 2010. So our numbers continue to climb along with that. Our enrollment for our rentals, we've served over about 1,300 youth through 23 events so far this year. We still have 8 events in September and 4 in October remaining. We're also planning a Christmas break event at Camp Hollis. It would be like the one we did at spring break last year. So it will be day programs with an overnight option, as you know that the lodge is winterized now, so it's open year round. So we're going to be able to offer some out of school activities as we move forward. We also have at Camp Serby, we served 246 campers over the 7 weeks, which is, again, close to the capacity. of what's allowable out there. The programming went well as well. That numbers are fine at that point too. We served 235 girls with the softball program at Camp Hollis for Sergeant Legends, and that's unduplicated. So we had, different numbers coming every week, but 235 unduplicated of the traction that we had. We did a kickball tournament out there a couple weeks ago. We had 53 kids out there of 7 teams, so it was very popular as we do that. Back at Zerby, the bathhouse is about 99% completed. We're going to have a walkthrough next week, so that will be happening as we go forward with that. I have my staff out there, my maintenance man is out there 2 days a week working on different things, including the Frisbee golf course. We had 8 holes cleared as of last week. They're looking to have their 9th hole finished up with that this week, next week, and then we'll get the work on board and getting the first 9 holes put in out there, so that will be done for fall. Don Forbes meeting with one of my staff out there today on the pack of wall buildings, which was recently completed, so that will be after Don goes through that today, we'll be able to get that on the rental docket and move forward with great additional revenue out to Zerby. We are working on the old tennis volleyball courts that we are going to refurbish those, and those are going to become pickleball courts. So we're putting those in there, if not this fall, but early spring to be ready. At Legends Fields, we did submit a CFA, looking for the nets, scoreboards, etc. And we are working with on the MLB grant right now, gathering data on the lights up there. That's one thing we'd like to do. That we've been doing some work and some studies, and Tim could probably tell you a little bit more about that, what the lights could do and the savings cost, which is the big piece, is that projects the company energy right in half. So we know, you've heard me complain a little bit about the utility bills, so that would go a long ways in covering that. So we're doing some of those things as we go forward. Champion Sports will be picking up tournaments again there on September 21st, and I think they have 4 tournaments to finish out this season. Right after that, National Grid is supposed to come in there and do some work. SUNY Oswego is looking to use it for their intramural program this fall and next spring, so I'm working with them right now on that. So we are seeing traction with the use of Legends Fields right now. Independence Trail, through the READY grant, we are starting construction on that right now, and that will be the last of the 2 READY grants that we have through Parks and Rec to get done. Anticipated work time on that is only a month for the work they have to do, so that should be completed this fall. Our traveling parks and parks programs, we had shows this summer at Constantia, Central Square, Hubbardfest, Palermo, Schuylkill, Parish, and Hannibal. So we had we spread that out the best that we could do. The children's parade at Hubbardfest that we were responsible for, we think that was one of the largest crowds we've had in years. Our summer fun program, we did at Kingsford Park Elementary this summer. That we just completed. That was a program we partnered with the school district with. Our New York State Governor's Youth Council just started. I oversee 19 counties on that one, so that's just happening where we'll work with the governor's office on different policies, and our young people who have been chosen, there's 1 per county, will talk about issues that impact young people. We have a student in Journey Gerard from Mexico. It's representing Oswego County, and I will bring her to a meeting in the near future. We held a little event recently at Thunder Island, at Right Back Park, the city, different programming. Our AmeriCorps program was informed today that we have been funded again for another year. So that's always good news when you get that information. We are in the process of right now is gearing up for the new year. Kira Richter started today as our assistant to the program, which is good because she'll pick up to help with the recruiting of not only members of sites as we enter the new program year. So those are all there. And lastly, I do have a flyer to hand out that the trunk or treat is happening at the Oswego Speedway again this year on the 26th of October. Thousands of young people go through the doors for that to trick or treat safely. Many sponsors within the community take part in that as well. So That's about it. We've been busy and we're moving forward with everything going into. We had a good summer, no major problems, physical here and there, things that we got through, and focusing on fall and planning for 2025.
Can you talk about a little bit more about the college? Who's that? Who's looking to use that? Is that
Intramurals.
Intramurals?
Yeah, intramurals right now is looking to use it. So I know their intramural baseball and softball teams both want to use it. They have dates they projected to give us. There's 2 for the fall and 2 for the spring as of right now.
I know they also do kickball too, so maybe that's something.
That may grow from there. Yeah, I think that we gave them a tour up there a couple weeks ago. They were up there and they went through the facility and trying to figure out where they can use it, what they can use it for. So they are very interested in partnering with us to do that. So.
That's great news. Now that's a revenue type of thing they'd have to use, right?
Correct, absolutely. And we're also working with, over the next couple months, we'll be working with the school districts looking for 2025. We're planning a preseason baseball and softball tournament up there, inviting all 9 districts to play. A non-counting game, so they don't worry about what they compete or not, but having a preseason or postseason tournament up there for softball and baseball as well. So we're working on those things. And, Tim and I are continuously going up there, walking through the leagues, and doing all sorts of brainstorming on things we can do to continue to operate the facilities. So a lot going on, but we're moving through it all.
Great. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Rick.
Do you have a completion date for serving?
Bathhouse?
Yeah, when it's all done.
The bathhouse is got to be done by the end of the month because we extended their contract through there. It's my understanding. There was an email. I think the painting was going on this week and a couple of the things that they were targeting September 12th to do the walkthrough. So I'll let you know in the walkthrough schedule if you want to go through it. But pack wall is done. Bathhouse will be done. And then Rick is working on all the other little things. BG has some time permits for them to be out there. We're going to do our own office, going to do all the staining of all the stairs and all those things, so we'll do that. But Rick is out there knocking things off as he can, little things that. But mostly, I'd say we're about going to be completely done by this fall. That's the goal.
I was out there a couple days ago. It's hydroseeded and all that. So,
yeah, there's a couple small things they had to do. They did something with the water system that to the caretaker's eyes, it doesn't look like the feeding program or the water feeders going through that. So they're going to go out there and look at that to make sure that it's going to go work correctly with our other systems before we sign off on anything. So things like that have to be done. So Rick's aware of it for B&G. And on September 12th or that week of, we're going to do the walkthrough, make sure we have everything completed. So that's their anticipated closure date is 12 by the 12th. Which is only about 3 weeks off of what they originally projected.
Anybody else? Okay. Veterans.
So our Fresh Connect voucher program was super successful this year. We ended up handing out 3,700 vouchers. We have 50 left. Our last 2 little packs that we can give out. That's 1,250 more than we did last year. So hopefully next year, they'll only send me 2,500. So next year I'm going to try to get them to go ahead and send them all at one time because of that break we had in between. There was a lot of veterans calling that still needed these checks. I had to keep telling them so we're going to try to get that boosted up next year. There's 2 suicide prevention and awareness trainings coming up this month. One I'm going to attend virtual and the other one is at the National Veterans Resource Center in Syracuse. Everybody's heard of the 22 veterans a day commit suicide. The latest numbers are showing that that's down to 16. So these programs that they have are really working. As far as our office is concerned,
it teaches us how to ask the right questions when veterans come in, if we sense that something's wrong or something's going on, how to ask those questions and where to send them if they need support. There's a new program they have out at Syracuse VA. I was contacted a month ago. Veterans meet weekly, and there's a counselor that guides it, and they have what's called Veteran X. Veteran X is a fictitious person that they import different scenarios that veterans might have to face. I did one this month. I'm doing another one next month, and hopefully every month after that, where I'll go on the program with them, and they take that veteran and they take them through the claims process. And they discuss with the veterans that are in there, to discuss their certain specific scenarios, and it allows me that opportunity to teach them the things that they need to do in order to be successful at filing claims. These veterans aren't all in Oswego County, they're all over this area in the state of New York. Anybody that attends that Syracuse VA can attend these meetings. I think last time I did, there was 14 veterans on there. And I spent an hour and a half just talking to them about Veteran X and filing a claim and the things that they need to know to ensure that they're filing it properly, and that as a VSO, I'm not limited to just Oswego County. I could be a VSO for anybody in the country. So if they have any questions, they can call me and I would answer those questions. I really like that program. Last but not least, with permission from my VSO Matthias, his wife and him welcomed their baby girl August 31st, Milo Rose Francesca Garcia. So they had their first child, which means he's not in the office currently. So with only being 3 of us, we're going to adjust as we need to, so he can spend time with his wife.
For him, they'll be a handful.
Yes. Luckily, her family's here and his family lives here, so he has a lot of support between the 2 families. So, and it was a cesarean, medical reasons. So his wife's in a little worse shape than you anticipate.
Everyone's healthy though.
Yes, the baby and mom are both doing fine. They're hoping to come home today. Once he comes home, they can assess, and then he's going to determine, when he'll come back to work. It wouldn't surprise me if he shows up tomorrow, but. If he comes back, I don't know why. He only have so much.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from anyone? Hey, Office of the Agent, Sarah.
So, I mentioned at our previous meeting that we're going to be sponsoring 2 senior health fairs, the health insurance fairs, because we continue to be in tight quarters where we are, and we thank the Youth Bureau and the Health Department for the space they provided. But we really don't have the accommodations for this year's Medicare open enrollment. So as a way to try to alleviate some of the requests for assistance, we have 2 insurance fairs where we're inviting insurance companies and letting people know that please come out to these events, get your questions answered so that you don't have to wait for someone from the Office for the Aging to try to find an appointment spot for you. So we're going to be in Fulton and Pulaski.
How's the attendance on those pretty, brother?
Well, this will be the first time we've ever done it, so we're hoping it's going to be very high attendance. And there's no registration. We're hoping that anyone and everyone will come, even if they don't have Medicare. Maybe it's a son or a daughter, so they can come and get the information to help mom and dad at home. So we're working with Savannah and Kelly to get the word out.
Oh, that's a good thing to be doing. There's so many. I just had a sister who went through that. Why they need that information.
Yeah, and we're hoping
There are
if
so many people.
it's well received this year, we're going to continue on in the coming years, only because we don't have enough staff to address all the people that are seeking assistance to navigate through Medicare. So if we can get them together all in one room to talk, and then you can go from one insurance to another to see what they offer, then, and then they want to come back to us after the fact to get our opinion. Certainly we'll provide that unbiased information for that insurance, but get it all together to try to alleviate some of that.
I would be interested to hear how that goes.
So fall is our busy time for sure. Our other program, early outreach for heat. I think applications started going out last week. So again, we don't have really space to accommodate. We get a lot of walk-ins for people to review their applications. So we're really trying to direct them to where we'll be out in the community. So we've updated where we are in the community. I don't have the days or the times on there, but we're trying to get people to call us so we can schedule an appointment and let them know where we'll be on those. But those are the locations that we will be, where we have been throughout this whole process. We'll continue to be to try to address people's questions, concerns, but this fall, certainly it'll be, a majority of it will be to assist with the applications for our elderly residents. I just wanted to give you, to tag into what Eric said, we do still have farmer market coupons, our senior farmer market coupon booklets. This year we got an additional 60 booklets than we did from the previous year. We have about 40 booklets available. This is the first year since I've been with the Office for the Aging that we have booklets still available. They're usually gone within the first 10 to 14 days of having them. So if you do know of any seniors that are interested, I don't have the income guidelines, it's 150% of the federal poverty level, but it's $25 worth of coupons. There's 4 coupons that are, or 5 coupons that are $5 for them to spend at the local farmers markets. There's some roadside stands they can visit, but they can, any of the participating markets, so they could go to the regional market if they wanted to, because our markets will be closing then, probably in October, I think beginning of October, our local ones, but they can go to the regional market to spend a couple months there as well. So I asked Eric if he has anybody in his realm, he wants to send them over to me. We'll be happy to get booklets to them, and we can travel to bring them. If somebody can't get to our location, we can bring them to them as well. We will also be participating in New York Connect. Our New York Connect side is going to be doing some mini informational fairs at the trailer parks around the county. We did this last year at some of our senior buildings where we brought some resources in. It's like an hour and a half mini fair for them to come in and see, like SNAP is there, as well as, transportation and some insurance, so that they can see what's available to try to get any questions addressed right there at the house. So now we're going to be going to the trailer park for some people, maybe they can't make it in to get all the information. And there's a number of vendors that are there in one place for them to get information. And we also, NYSOFA, the State Office for the Aging, will be on site doing our annual evaluations, the first one since pre-COVID, on October 16th and 17th. So we'll be going over our program information and making sure our I's are dotted and T's are crossed for the program dollars that we do receive from them. Again, it's a little more difficult because we're not in one space, we're kind of all over, but we'll get them whatever information they want, and hopefully they'll know how well we operate, and there'll be no corrective action plan required. We also, I just wanted to update you, our senior picnic was August 14th. I've been doing that all day, saying the wrong month. So August 14th was our senior picnic. We had it at the Mexico VFW. We had 118 seniors attend. It was a beautiful day. Assemblyman Barkley also attended, and representative from Senator Waldeck's office were there. We're already planning our next year's event. It was very well received. The biggest complaint we did receive was that bingo was not long enough. We had Investigator Moore from the Sheriff's Office come in and talk about how to avoid scams and what scams are going on in our area. It lasted a little bit longer because there's a lot of questions asked of him. So that did cut into bingo time, and that was frowned upon by some people. We did have 24 seniors utilize access Oswego for the bus. So we've been working with a mobility manager for next year to see if there's something more we can do to encourage additional ridership for that someday. So that's, yes, that's all.
Anyone have any questions for Sue? Okay, Lee, you're up.
Hey, I have Sarah here. She's going to give you a report on her programs today, like she did last time. Sarah, you want to hand
Is it
down?
okay if I sit at the table?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll pass this around. Oh, okay. So these numbers for CPS kind of flip-flop back and forth between July and August because of the last meeting. I was asked to provide the cases closed that were overdue and they were indicated and unfounded. So we started tracking that in August. So that's why it's going back and forth. So in July, we received 182 CPS reports. In August, we closed 214 submitted, but they were actually, only 160 were actually processed. That means that the rest of them had to have corrections made to meet state mandates before they could be approved. So we give those back and ask that they go out, the staff go out and make corrections or whatever it is that's needed. We have a ton of requirements for state mandates, so we are not putting them through unless those are in there. So of the 160 that were closed, 150 of them are overdue. 99 were unfounded, which means there was not a fair preponderance of evidence to the application. And 37 were indicated and closed. 24 were indicated and open, and that means that they're open for provided services. It could be that there was petition filed in family court, or a removal has occurred, or we have found that there's enough safety and risk where we have asked the family to participate in preventive services, and therefore we open the preventive services.
You kick them back. They have abilities that they need them. They do the report, so there's certain criteria that has to be met before it gets kicked into and submitted.
Yes, there is so much that has to be in every CPS investigation from start until finish, and we have a lot of new staff, so they're missing things, and this is what we've implemented to catch them, to make sure that we get them done. Things that are late, there's no correcting that, but we can make sure that we've completed all of the necessary tasks that are required. That makes sense.
So there, a portion of the overdue cases are indicated.
Yes.
That scares me a little bit. That's frightening to think that those cases are going on when there's indicated situations there. So
Yeah, and when you're talking indicated and unfounded, it means that there was enough evidence to substantiate that allegation, but there may be enough protecting factors in that family.
hopefully, yes.
It mitigates
Yeah.
that safety and risk issue.
But that's not a certainty though.
Well, that's what we train our staff
Yeah.
to assess, but nothing is for certain.
Yeah.
100% nothing is for certain. So yeah.
So you said indicated there could be a safety plan in place where the kid may have gone somewhere else and they're not longer harm's way.
There could be. Typically, if it could rise to that level, we filed a petition at the end of the quarter. But It could be that it was an isolated incident that occurred. It could be that the parent is now, using a relative or someone to help care for the kids. It could be a variety of things. And we have about 1,000 open reports and still about 700 that are overdue. As you can see, we have a high number of reports still coming in, and we're not closing enough to go over that. So, for CPS, we have 42.5 positions. We have 4 vacancies now, and still some caseworkers in training. So we have 20 caseworkers. Any other questions on job? And I'm more than happy to with anybody have time to kind of explain what the ins and outs are of the CPS process. Okay, so for family services, we have about 400 cases, about 1,400 being served. We have 39 caseworker positions total, 4 vacancies, continued caseworkers in training. Medical leave, we have 4 caseworkers in our survivor treatment and recovery teams. And we actually have some good news. We had our first family complete this program successfully. That's a huge accomplishment for us. Really excited about that. 5 caseworkers in our adoption units and 3.5 cases. 28 caseworkers are handling cases. For our adult services unit, we have about 29 open cases with 15 pending referrals. We have about 2 refugees, usually 415 refugee cases. We added home care cases this year because we didn't provide stamps on that, but these caseworkers are also handling these cases. Some are having more involvement than others. Some are just 1 visit a year. But we thought it was important to show that work as well. So there are 11 total caseworker positions. We have a caseworker vacancy, a caseworker on a medical, so we have 7 handling cases, 2 vacancies. For legal unit, we had 24 positions, which is actually a very high number. And we also had 8 court-ordered investigations. That's in court judge report on 12 motions, 20 surrenders for termination of tax rights petitions that are quite extensive, social files, 131 court summaries, 15 permanent hearing reports, extensive report, and we continue to have 1 attorney vacancy. So some updates that I provided on the back of your sheet. We continue to train in motivational interviewing guidelines with the Center for Excellence. We're one of only a couple of counties in the state that is participating in this. And this is a big deal because motivational interviewing is Federal Family First Prevention Services Act clearinghouse as a program that you can draw down bits of funds if it's part of the state's plan, which it is. So we are learning, the state has still not figured out MI yet because it's not necessarily an actual program that we're paying for. It's a skill and a tool that our caseworkers are using. But MSP is part of the Citizen Clearinghouse and the state's plan. So we participate in a webinar later this month where we will learn how to be able to draw down the FIPSA funds, what will be required for FIPSA candidacy. And then once they decide on motivational interviewing, we're hopeful because we have been doing the AI training to meet fidelity standards for MI that we will also be able to draw down funds for that as well. So I'm really proud of our staff. They've been working very hard. And it's not just about the money piece of it, but it's also that having the skills to be able to engage the families as best we can around substance use disorder. So that's right. continue to meet with OCFS quarterly, both myself, the grade A supervisor, and our CPS managers. And our next visit is scheduled for later this month. Our child protective unit has been working very hard to close cases. We have this huge backlog because so many cases have been submitted. And our current process is that there are 3 part-time seniors and the QA grade B are the only ones that can approve them, but because they can't get through the amount we have, we are now distributing 5 cases to each senior that they didn't actually supervise themselves. So we're hoping that the issues that happened before will kind of fill in the blanks that they supervise themselves. They'll have a more objective outlook on those. So we plan on doing that so we can get through our backlog and then hopefully be able to with a plan in place. So we have about 20 applications for caseworkers, which is a wonderful, not even a wonderful thing we're experiencing. So we're hoping that we can become fully staffed within the next month or so. There will still be a delay for training. It takes like 3 to 4 months to get them enrolled in the CFS trainings. So they have to have that training before they can handle CPS reports. We finish some contacts on those, but we have a lot of work that they can do that's not necessarily doing special contacts. So get them in the get them shadowing. So some really good news to share, and we have done, the commissioner, myself, our grade A supervisor, Richard Pilo, and various members of our leadership team, we have done field trips to all of the local school districts, and we've met with all of them and all of the superintendents except for Phoenix, and Phoenix is scheduled for later this month. This is part of our effort to improve our relationships and collaboration with school districts. We were welcomed at each district. We've had great conversations about some things that they need from us, some things we're doing well, some things we can do better, and we've also found some opportunities we have to meet more often and be able to work together. So I'm really optimistic with the conversations that we've had at each school, and I think that it's something that we're going to plan on doing every summer when they have a little bit more time to meet.
That's new? Have you done that before?
No,
So do other counties do that, or is that?
I doubt it.
Wow.
I can't say for sure.
I think that's great for relationships and expediting speeds.
It's great because we have a school collaboration guide that every school district gets that has a safety net process in it. So if there's a concern about a case or they need to get a hold of somebody, they can escalate their calls to be able to get a hold of us. But now they know who we are. You know, they let us all. So it's really just positive all around. I don't know if you have that.
No, I just really was, the teams are so warm and welcoming. I think we were a little nervous going into some of the school districts in light of the situation, but they were all very warm and welcoming, very open to providing feedback, talking about how we can also not only connect the school district, but also legislators, talk about some of the concerns that are plaguing the school districts, thinking of Fulton, where poverty is a real issue for this district, and making sure that legislators are aware of the needs of the school district, which also are our needs, share those same kids. So I think it was nice to go to a couple of districts and have them really engage in conversation about the peripheral needs that they also have, that we might be able to collaborate a little better on gathering some data to understand some things a little better. So it was a really good initiative that was, Sarah was the brainchild behind that and organized it before I even started. So I'd like to give her the credit for that, because it really is been a great experience for them as well as us.
Do you think this will help at all with, I know we use that term of closing cases, but will that help with that moving forward on things so you can,
I think it'll come full circle because I think if there's more communication and it's the kind of communication that's needed, then it might prevent some of the recidivism events. So I think in the end it might help. So both myself and members of our adult services unit have volunteered to be on some of the work groups for the adult protective hotline that will be mandatory within the next 4 years. So that'll be very interesting to see how that works out with what will be required with the planning. I'll continue to update you as we move through the planning process for that. This right now, we are in the first year of our next 5-year cycle for the county plan. If you're not familiar with the county plan, it's very large and extensive. It covers all of the different units that we have and all the work that we do. And it also includes runaway and homeless youth. So Brian has a couple sections that he works on, and then we also have a child care section that Gidget works on. So it's due in November and finishing up hopefully within the next month, getting it over to me, and then she'll send it to Chairman whether I'm review. So, and really the last thing I wanted to add with this visit, Tiffany really was the one who coordinated all of those visits. She was amazing.
We wanted to do an open house, but it actually turned out even better going into the districts and getting to see them and meet them and their administrative staff, so that's awesome.
That's all I have.
How do you track, are your numbers up or down from previous years? Been there, we up,
They're about average.
they're about there. How do you track these numbers? Like, he's got B 240001 start the first year. You do that, CPS 24001, CPS. How are these tracked? Are these tracked together? Do these all come in one number? Are they all separate?
So there's a lot of tracking we have. We do our own internal tracking, and then OCFS has a data warehouse. So there's multiple ways that we track data. We can pull reports from data warehouse. Our QA person right now is tracking a lot of these, especially like the amount that are overdue. So pretty much any kind of data we need or we want to look at, we can provide.
so when a family has a problem, their child is removed, and there's a case, started on these folks, until those kids come home back with the parents, are they open?
Yes, so they're,
So that can add up in itself, right, for the open cases?
well, those cases should close in CPS and they open and preventive
Okay.
with CPS monitoring, but they don't count as an open. Once they're closed in CPS, they don't count number-wise.
Okay.
So it's not an ongoing
Yeah.
case number.
Yeah.
It's your Mexico school coming with your communication between the children.
I think that was a great visit. Really
I'd
fun.
say that was in my top 2. Yeah.
That's good. How is your AI? Is that up and running yet?
I don't know, actually.
So we just uploaded and sent over all of the HR policies for EVA, and then I know Gidget has a couple of work groups that are in the process of just getting it piloted, figuring out what's going to work, et cetera. So soon, hopefully.
Okay, thank you. So, do we have any other old business? Executive session, are we still looking at that? We haven't? Thought we would have an item that,
Yeah, budget.
so we're gonna move to go to executive session. Thank you all. Need to stay and stay.
We'll get out of executive.